for kids, and the guy was like, I thought that meant safe for kids. I
Right.
just wanna. So it's live. I just wanna check that it's now. Yeah. John's origin story. So if I go here, not that you need it. Okay, so it's working. Yeah. Why is it just me though? We need both of us.
Yeah, I've just got you.
Yeah. No, I know. Boom.
Boom! There it is. We're back.
So,
Back
in-
for another episode.
Just in case you want it, I slacked you the link of the. But you gotta mute it if you. I'm just gonna wait till it shows the two. Boom! Yeah, there you go. It's now. All right, we look decent. I'm gonna close this because this is distracting. But I'll keep it there. Just I shouldn't. All right, Mr. John. Close all this.
Mr. John.
Are you recording yourself? I'm recording here.
I am recording myself, and I can actually pull up that recording monitor and make sure I am getting video and also audio, which is good.
I like it. It's kind of, it seems once you press live and you're on a scene, like even without changing scene or anything, it feels steady. Like it feels like it's going to work.
Do I look a little bit fuzzy to you? Is that me not coming in at great quality, or is that just my version of it? Do I look clear to you?
No, you do look a bit fuzzy.
It's because I haven't shaved. I get it.
Let me just check one thing. You should see all of it again. I keep asking you, but I know because it gives me a red square, so I know I should just trust the app. Interview. Oh, do you see just me when I... Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
Customize. There was somewhere. This is just for the page. Cancel. Video.
Was it under stream? Was it what was going out?
Stream
to...
size. 1080. High quality video.
Hmm.
Why is audio? Or maybe it's like it decides. Requires speed for one. For one what? If you stream to multiple.
One
When you stream to multiple, you double the. I did not know that.
Yeah, that seems insane. Because I guess it's going straight from your computer to those destinations. I guess the difference with something like StreamYard is that you're like streaming one lot up to StreamYard, and then StreamYard's the thing that's like broadcasting it across multiple platforms. But I guess
Restream, all these would do that. You just connect to that, and then it offsets the. I like it. We could do a whole episode where we discover Ecamm Live's options.
Yeah.
So yeah,
well, we've recorded all this, right? We'll just put it together as an episode.
Speeds, whatever. Once it's recording, I can't change. Yeah.
It's fine.
You are fuzzy.
It'll just be what's going to YouTube. It'll be all right. The
you have your recording.
Check if I have any silly things happening. I'm not currently backing up.
Maybe here in John, in your camera, I can. There was somewhere use high res. No. 360p. No, we don't want this at all.
Oh, okay. I guess that's what's going on.
So it's on this side. Picture brightness, and I have the pro account, so it should allow. Okay, it's probably here. John,
unless it's my settings when I joined or something, but I don't think.
If you share, you have a.
Yeah, no, it's just CamLink. Like it's just the source that I can share. I don't get any other settings.
What if I go in just you, because it's not gonna cut it with 320. Yeah, it's still 320. Oh no, 1080 now. No, that's me. You are 360. Why?
Why
Why?
360? Definitely sharing. Well, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to share anything else. You wouldn't see me if I was sharing my webcam because my laptop's closed.
Maybe if I blur you.
Oh, that's better.
It's like the Zoom background, but on top of one layer too forward. So if I just procrastinate for a bit longer, Ecamm/beta right here, 1080. Interview mode now supports 1080p for resolution for guests.
So maybe it only supports 320 before that.
But I'm on the beta, like
or whatever. Oh, we are using the beta now.
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Interview. There's not.
Wasn't it good quality before?
It was.
Maybe I just didn't notice it. Or maybe I was.
No, you were like coming in super sharp.
All right. All my internet things are definitely not running and draining. I'm definitely on Ethernet rather than Wi-Fi.
Yeah. And the camera options. God damn. Options. Look, so when I have this one here, for me, there's this use max resolution. But for you, it just like goes straight into that 360. And I've got the Pro, like if I check my account, I am Pro.
If you turn off, are you doing any like zooming and panning and stuff? If you turn that stuff off, does it happen to, like if it doesn't need to process it or something? Oh, it's not even on. Okay.
Maybe I can put you like this.
Yeah.
Picture settings. Reset. I don't know. Fuck. Camera options. Mirror. Black and white.
Sepia tone. We recorded it well and truly in the past.
Yeah. The interlace. No, I don't even know what that does. Fucking hell. Oh no. He's swearing now. No.
Oh no.
Be banned.
YouTube's going to cut us off. This is no longer suitable for kids.
I don't know, man.
That's all right. How about we just, let's not worry about it for this one. It'll be fine. So we'll just
like
it'll just be what's going to YouTube for the
or I just kick you out and rejoin you. No, whatever.
Yeah. We could do that.
Okay. We still live, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going exactly as according to plan. There he is in all his 360p. Oh no, you're sharp as hell. Are you?
Am I?
720.
Okay, that's up enough.
That's already.
That doesn't make any sense. Why would it just choose once that you deserve to be this quality and I'm just gonna not let you change it anymore? That seems ridiculous. Like for it to be 360 and now 720.
Yeah, maybe it's when
with
you
no option to change anything.
When you ask to join, it looks at your connection, but it should continue pinging and be like.
Yeah. And my connection was all right. How about I try joining one more time? Here we go.
John, where are you?
What about this time?
This one looks like 240.
Oh, God damn it. So
No,
we'll just keep like
360.
leaving and coming back until for some reason it randomly chooses 1080p. And
You're
then
back
we'll be good
to
to go.
360. I thought you were going to be...
left.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I thought you were getting promoted slowly as a power user coming for the third time. You're like giving you good. Now you're back to 720. Okay, so it does adjust. So
Okay, so it's dynamically, yeah, right.
it's probably on your end then, because I'm just gonna do that thing again. I can't do the test while it's running, but yeah. I've got a really good NBN stuff for the first time in my life. Okay. Well, I guess, yeah. But 720 with the split view is fine, though. You're going to look like
Yeah,
this.
it's fine. It's all good. But yeah, I'm just doing a speed test quickly, and like it should be fine. Anyway, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 720 is fine.
This is fine. I think I zoomed myself in, and I should not zoom myself. Because then I have to make you bigger. What? Okay, so if I go like this, maybe I can turn that a bit. Yes. And then I don't have to zoom you, and you can mask you. It's 320.
If I move me slightly that way, so I'm centered, then if you do go to like a full screen one, I'll still be centered.
How about the randomizer?
Yeah, that'll keep it interesting. Yeah, if we start getting to talking about boring stuff, we'll just start shaking the camera to keep everyone's attention.
Okay, so like you're gonna stay where you are. Who cares? That's fine. I can.
You can't catch me. You can't catch me. You can't keep me in the center.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's good like this. So yeah, you're back to 360. So we'll see what happens.
Huh. Okay.
We've been live this whole time doing this whole fluffing around. All right, back to
the podcast.
Yes. I'm recording. You're recording. We've got lights on.
I'm recording locally. I
have to mirror you. I'm not running out of rabbit holes to dig. No, I'm mirroring you. What?
What?
Yeah, that. Which way? Where do you look when you talk?
Yeah, I'll look like kind of over. Wait, no, I'll look at. See, the confusing thing is you're over here, but the notes are over here.
Look where you want to look at your notes, and I can mirror you.
Okay. So most of the time, I think I'll be looking over here.
All right. So you're not mirrored. You're normal. Back to normal.
Okay. Finally, I'm normal.
Okay. I've got my notes. Do I? I do. Why am I scared? I shouldn't be scared anymore.
Shouldn't be scared. Do we need to do some star jumps?
Oh, I'm gonna save my energy, I think.
Yeah.
All the little bit of energy. Okay, I've got my notes and I've got you up there, and it's great. Life is great. I've got my coffee.
Good stuff. Remember, you don't have to like talk much in this one.
That's true.
Yeah.
I just get to enjoy.
Just yeah, maybe you should get a second coffee so you can just really relax. Oh man, this thing's popping up telling me things. Let's put it on do not disturb. Make everything shut up. All right.
I'll just mirror that view as well, just in case. No, unmirror. So if I need to just go away,
just walk away.
Yeah, I'll just
too bored.
Press Command 3. No, Command 2, and then I can go away. Oh, we have 247 hours left of interview mode. That's a lot. It's scary, but that's a whole lot. All right. This is going to be a podcast about coughing and saying, all right, we're doing this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess I'm going to have to cough in between sections as well. So I might need to mute and strategically tap you.
Command Shift M. What was it? Command.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Nice. What are we talking about again? Oh yeah, me. Oh no, I can do this. I can talk about me.
You get this.
I got this. All right. Simon, you need to take a big drink.
It's sparkling water, so it might be double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's gonna it's gonna give you the hiccups.
All right, I'm good.
All right,
I think I'm good.
I am good. All right. Let me just quickly scroll through and see what we're actually.
Let me see who I am. What's my story?
Who am I again? What was my name? Oh yeah, no, I'm Simon. Wait, no, sorry, John. I'm John. That's right.
Yeah, you're only doing your part.
I
I'm back now.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, here we go. One last sip. One last cough. All right. We've done the cough mic check. We're good to go.
We are.
Welcome to the Nav Bar, a podcast where we help you navigate the web and raise the bar for your... Oh, man. I don't know why that caught me out. I'm saying it... I like slightly reworded it on this one, and... Because I was like editing the other one, I'm used to hearing it like in a particular way and hearing like...
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
The music in the background.
Yeah. Yeah, we need that music. Welcome to the Nav Bar, a podcast where we help you navigate the web and raise the bar of your content creation. My name is John Myers. I'm a developer advocate from Supabase.
And I'm Simon Vrashliotis. I'm a designer, developer, and content creator from Sydney, Australia. In this episode, we're going to talk everything about John. Where John was born, what led you, John, to web development, and eventually developer advocacy. And this is really cool because the audience is going to learn about you, but I am also going to learn about you because you might not know, but we only recently met and talked about doing this podcast. So I'm going to learn everything today along with the audience. Question, are you ready to talk about yourself for a whole episode, John?
I am indeed. I hope you are sitting comfortably because there is nothing I would rather talk about than myself for a whole episode. We'll see how long this episode is. It might be our longest episode so far. We'll have to see how we go. So if we take it like all the way back to when I was a teenager, I guess. I grew up in Canberra, which is the like super boring capital of Australia. Most people think the capital city is Sydney, where you are, but it actually is this little kind of like faux country town. It's not really a country town, but it's not big enough to really call it a city. But yeah, it's pretty boring. And so when you live in Canberra, you need other things to do. And so I played a lot of games, and in particular, I played a whole lot of World of Warcraft, and had like a group of friends that was super into it, took it way too seriously. And so because of that interest in like games and things, I started building computers. And so I'd go to these like computer fairs, these markets, and like buy different parts. So I'd buy like the best CPU and then the best something else, and put them all together. And I would build my computer, and then I'd build computers for friends. And so I really got interested in like the hardware side of computing. I also, because of my enjoyment of games and wanting to do even better in the games without actually getting better at the game, I built bots to help me cheat in the game, which were like, you could call them like coding, but it wasn't really coding. And I didn't really understand that concept of like connecting the dots, that's what programming was. It was kind of just like, like following a tutorial and then kind of tweaking it a little bit. And it was a very kind of like drag and drop interface. I don't actually remember what it was, but basically built a little bot that could like automate clicking around the screen based on different colors. So it wasn't really like advanced. But yeah, because of this interest, I was like, all right, maybe I should do some classes at high school about computing, and realized very quickly that the classes were pretty, a little bit below what my skill level was already.
Right.
But I found this cool, this networking class, which for some reason was like, it was like certified by Cisco. And so the idea was that you would do a couple of semesters of this networking class at high school, and you would get part of, I think, what is a CCNA or one of the Cisco certificates, which, yeah, it's like a really cool way to kind of get started into a career in computing. But then this weird, like, mysterious thing happened, and the teacher just disappeared. They didn't really disappear, but they didn't really give us like a good explanation as to why they weren't there anymore. They just kind of came into the class and were like, oh yeah, this teacher is not going to be teaching the class anymore. And they're the only ones that are like certified by Cisco to be able to teach this content. And so we're just going to drop you all into a programming class.
Oh, wow.
And so we kind of dropped in at like 6 weeks in, and there was just like no effort put into bringing these new students up to speed. Like, they just kept going with the same curriculum of like where they were at that 6 week point. And so I just like had no idea what was going on. Like imagine, if you are familiar with programming, if you would, the whole class had learnt like what a variable was and maybe what a function was. And then like you drop in without any of that like foundational knowledge. And then there's just like some challenge to build something that uses functions and variables. So I was just terrified. Like I was like, this is absolutely not for me. I am not a programming person. And so kind of was thinking more on the side of hardware rather than software because I was enjoying building computers.
Yep.
I moved into, there was this another really cool program. It actually was quite a cool high school, I guess, that had all of these kind of advanced career style classes that you could do. But I moved into this technical production in live theater course, which was, all about lighting and sound and like backstage stuff for theater productions. And I just, I loved it. I ended up working in the theater for like there was like a theater attached to the high school. So I ended up working there for a year or so while I was finishing off my school. And and at the same time really got into like music production, recording bands, so using microphones and learning like mixing and mastering software. So I learned how to use Pro Tools, and also how to kind of produce electronic music. And so started, learning about synthesizers and learning about kind of the like meta side of music, I guess. Like how do you record bands and be the person that kind of like pieces together all the things and has this kind of technical understanding, which should have also been another hint that like maybe programming was something that I would be good at. Because, all the lighting and sound stuff, like what I really liked about in the theater world was programming these lighting shows where you basically have a collection of different scenes and you're moving between those different lighting scenes with different transitions between them. And so it's basically just like writing out a program. Like it's just a sequence of steps and how long it takes to transition between each of those steps.
Totally, yeah.
And so there was that, and then there was me like literally programming synthesizers and like programming music. But I still thought programming is not for me. I can't do the software side of things.
Yeah.
I definitely need to stick to this hardware side. And so then after finishing school, I moved to Melbourne. And so this is where I am now, Melbourne, Australia. And because, as I said before, Canberra's pretty boring. And so once you like grow up and you're, time out. Ooh, he's disappeared. All right, looks like I'm going to have to take over my Simon impression because Simon's been muted. Hello, I am Simon Vrashliotis.
He's back. Bit of German accent in there. I just, the dog keeps barking, so I just got to go check what's happening. I think someone's outside. Cool. This is great. This is a good start. We haven't said bad words or pointed at specific companies, so we can keep it all.
Yeah.
I'll be back in 2
I'll
seconds.
See you soon. Sure. I hope no one's watching the stream. This would not be valuable content for you. Maybe I should keep going with my Simon impression while he's not here. Maybe I could just fill out the rest of the episode. Oh, no, he's back. Shh. Shh. It can be our little secret. He doesn't need to know. Oh, you're still muted. And
I'm
he's back. Did you get a delivery?
So there's the Coles shop at home thing parked in front of our house, and we do get shop from them, but I don't think we're expecting today.
Right.
But the dog is like hell bent on telling everyone there's a truck. I need to buy.
There's a truck.
And
It's time to put the groceries away. Put the cold stuff in the fridge.
Yeah, a little part of me thinks that it might be for us, although because my wife orders every now and then, I don't know, so I'll have to go check in a bit. But he's
Sure.
like he's parked in the truck and with the engine on and looking at his phone. So I sorting out. Yeah, it might be across the road, so I don't know. But
Sure.
the dog will. If he comes at the door, the dog will definitely let the world know.
Sure.
So if I don't hear anything, we can assume. But maybe in 5 minutes I'll go check again.
Yeah, cool. Sounds
Cool.
good. All right, we're jumping back in.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, doggy not happy.
All right, I'll go check and then we can
All right.
cut the whole bit. Sorry, man.
That's all right.
Flex. Hi, John.
Today's just not meant to be. We're not meant to record an episode today. There's been lots of... Oh, you can't hear me anyway. Yeah, this episode is just... it's cursed. I don't think we're meant to be recording today. Everything's standing in our way.
Yeah, living in the suburbia.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was next door neighbor getting food. So now if there's more barks, I'll just ignore it.
Okay.
It doesn't need my input.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was muting myself and just banging on the door to try to get him to be scared of like...
It's all good. We got this.
We do get this.
Yeah.
Do you because you finished the first phase, so like...
Yeah. So I can just jump into the next
Oh,
one.
yeah. So it's a like semi-easy to cut off bit.
Yeah. Easy.
Easy. Cool.
All right. So once I finished school, I was, still in Canberra, which was still boring. And me and all of my friends decided that we wanted to go and be a little bit more adventurous and live somewhere a little bit more fun. And when you live in Canberra, the closest capital city, or not capital city, the closest like proper city to you is Sydney, where you are.
Yeah.
And so like we had already kind of spent a lot of time in Sydney because once you have, like a license and you can drive around, that's kind of where we went on weekends.
Destination.
Yeah. And so it felt more adventurous moving to Melbourne rather than moving to Sydney. And so, yeah, a big group of us moved to Melbourne and lived in like two share houses very close to each other. It was a lot of fun. It was
That's cool. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, it was, crazy time. But I was still working with like lighting and sound stuff. So I was working for a couple of companies just casually, and doing basically like setting up lights and sound for different shows. But I got kind of sick of doing like manual labor type work like that didn't start until like 1 a.m. in the morning. And so that the hours were terrible, but also the pay was terrible. It was still like minimum wage. But like, you know, with these terrible in the middle of the night type shifts.
Yeah.
And so, I kind of realized I want to go and maybe learn something new. I might need to go and study for a little bit to do this, but I couldn't actually go to university straight away. It wouldn't be super easy to go to university because when I was at school, because I got kind of quite bored in high school, I ended up, I finished year 12, but I didn't do like the university entry test things, which allow you to kind of transition directly into university. And so I'm sure I could have done other courses like bridging courses or whatever to get into uni, but it felt a little bit too difficult. Also, I needed a job because I was living out of home. Like we had moved to Melbourne with just our friends. And so I couldn't really go and study full time without having another job. And so I thought, why not get paid to learn? And found this like traineeship program where I could work in Apple hardware. So doing like repairs for like laptops, and I guess it was a bit before iPhones were properly a thing, but fixing up laptops and iMacs and things like that, taking them apart, swapping out faulty parts, and did that for like a few years, and kind of worked my way up to being like the manager of a whole department, and nice. About as serious as I could get in that position. But again, realized that I'd kind of reached this ceiling, and even though I was in this like kind of manager position, the salary maybe wasn't very reflective of that. And so I thought, all right, if I've reached the ceiling here, and I can't really get the reskill again out in the industry, maybe I should go and look at going back to university. So at this point, I was what's called a mature age student. I think I was like 24 or something. And so the fact that I didn't do that university test in high school wasn't a factor anymore. I could actually go directly into university, or I had to do a couple of other tests. But
so once you reach a certain age, you can just re-enter uni without doing this exam?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you need to do like kind of like a short equivalent exam, just to make sure that you reach like a certain bar to be able to take the courses that you want to take. But yes, managed to get through that one. But because I had been away from that whole like learning world, or like, the school-based or like classroom-based kind of university style learning for so long, it kind of like I had enough time to mature up a little bit and decide that this was something that I really wanted to do. And so I think I took it a lot more seriously than I would have if I had gone directly into university straight after high school. So I ended up taking it very seriously, and did quite well, and then ended up getting offered a teaching position, actually in just my second semester at university. So I was like, I learnt the things in the first semester, and then the second semester I was teaching like the first semester unit straight away, which was super weird, and led to these weird situations where I'd be like teaching students in one course, but then like they were my peers in my group for like group assignments or whatever in another class. And so it was very strange, but I kind of did that all throughout my my university degree, kind of like doing a subject and then going back and like teaching that same subject, and it was like a really cool way to learn the concepts of the course to get through my university degree, but then also like revisit it at a deeper level, to then be able to teach it to someone else. So I feel like I ended up on the other side, kind of having gone through each of those units, or not all of the units, but a lot of those units like 2 or 3 times, because I went through as a student and then went through to be able to deliver the content. And so, yeah, that was a really good way to learn all of those concepts very, very well. And at the same time, I was teaching, at the same time as me being a student and also teaching at the university, I was working in tech support at a high school. So this was like a super small team. It was just me and one other person. And so because it was such a small team, we kind of just had to do everything. And so we had to kind of know a little bit about networking. We'll edit out that cough. We kind of had to know everything. And so we had to know like a little bit of networking, a little bit of like the student management system stuff and database stuff.
Yeah.
We had to know about like projectors, just basically like anything that plugged into the wall that broke in the school was our responsibility to kind of work out how to fix it. And so it kind of meant, firstly, it was like super intimidating, like just like everything was my responsibility to fix. But it also meant that like I kind of got to pick and choose extra bits of things that I was interested in. And so I kept finding excuses to like build web apps to automate our processes, or like I built a web app so that students could reset their passwords themselves, because that was like probably 90% of our work was just students forgetting their password, and they would have to come to us. Yeah, we would reset it, but we'd have to like go into the database to reset it. Like it was such a ridiculous system. And so like basically I just built a web interface that could talk to the database and allowed the students to reset their own passwords. And so I was always finding these excuses to build, like probably opening up massive security holes because I didn't really understand what I was doing, but I was always finding an excuse to build these web apps or do some fun stuff. And so, so it was really nice that I kind of got a really broad view of what was available working in support. And then I also got a really, really broad view at university as to all of these different parts. And I found that in both of those scenarios, I was kind of like traveling towards the kind of web development side of things. And so by the end of my, like when my degree finished, I'd kind of worked part-time in tech. I had worked in a few software engineering roles throughout that time as well, and had done a whole lot of teaching, but was really enjoying the teaching part the most. But I really didn't like the pace of the university curriculum, and also like how hard it was to change anything about it.
Oh yeah.
Like I was interested in like the kind of fast moving web development side of things, and they didn't really have any courses to cover that stuff at university at the time when I went to university. And so, I found it super hard to be taken seriously without having a PhD. Like that was kind of just like the golden ticket within the university world. If you didn't have a PhD, it was just like, you're just a student, or you're just one of the, it was very hard to get people to listen to why we should introduce a whole new course to teach this brand new, cool, fancy thing called web development that had been around already for like 20 years. I've disappeared.
Oh, you have.
Why have I disappeared? Oh, I've disappeared over there too.
The sound is still
just
on.
Die? Yeah.
Did your camera go in sleep mode?
But I thought it didn't do that.
Let me try another view. Yeah, I'm working. You in the dark.
Yeah, my ScreenFlow one has disappeared as well, but my CamLink seems to think that everything is okay. Let's see. How fun. Tech issues are great. Oh, are you muted? Did I break something else? Okay.
No, I'm muting myself to cough and I forgot to come back.
Okay. All right. I can't click settings anymore. I think I'm going to have to refresh. God damn it. I'll be back.
Yep. let's use this timeout to have a little elevator music. If I use the right fader. Dun, 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 dun. There he is.
Got the elevator music going.
We had to entertain the crowd, yes.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. So what was it?
Stuff.
Who knows what was it?
I don't know. Yeah, it's like it turned off on ScreenFlow as well. So yeah, it must be my end. Something with the camera had a little hiccup. But yeah.
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Here we go. Jumping back in. We are just going to have to edit every episode heavily for the audio.
I feel like it.
That's fine. So by the time I reached the end of my university degree, I had kind of worked a little bit part-time in tech support. I had done a few software engineering roles, just like super part-time, and I'd done a whole lot of teaching. And so teaching was the thing that I think I enjoyed the most, but I really didn't like the pace of university courses and the curriculum that was there. I was interested in the fun modern web development stuff, and it was really hard to convince universities to introduce a new course or to even refresh an existing course. Especially without a PhD. So anyone who wasn't a doctor, it was very hard to be taken seriously in the university world. And so I thought, all right, if my focus is like web development, fun, new, evolving things, boot camps would be a much more much more that style of education. And so I taught at a couple of boot camps here in Melbourne, and I ended up, I worked there for maybe a year or so and ended up writing the entire MERN stack curriculum for one of the ones that I worked for called Coder Academy. And so the MERN stack, if you're not familiar, is Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So it's basically like building full stack applications that are, I guess, like JavaScript all the way down. So you've got, like you write your React front end in JavaScript, you write your Node backend in JavaScript. Express is just a library that exists in Node, and then Mongo is a document database that you can like write JavaScript syntax to be able to interface with the data. And so that was super fun while I was developing new things and like building that curriculum. But then I kind of got bored of teaching the same thing over and over and over again. Like at that point I had taught like, super intro to programming courses at a university level, and then kind of taught those super intro to programming courses at a boot camp. And so I kind of got sick of teaching like what a variable is and what a function is. And I kind of got stuck in this this place where the good students that were building all the what is that? So it must not be going to sleep, because it wouldn't have gone to sleep again.
Yeah, no, it's been like 2 minutes for that one.
And it couldn't be that the battery is running out, because it has a dummy battery in it that isn't even a real battery. The cam link still has a light on. And even if I disconnect everything, it doesn't come back unless I
and it's like
refresh it all again.
You're sharing your camera with the Chrome browser, so it should know you're in a call. Like it's like a Zoom call or whatever.
Yeah.
Man, the curse.
The curse. Okay. So how do I get it to work again without needing to restart? I don't think I can. Man, I was on a roll. How'd it going?
You were. So what's the fix? Leave and come back? And it's the equivalent of my thing not wanting to share the audio last time.
So if I open up the console, I have like a there's a whole bunch of errors dumped to the console. But apparently anyway.
Debugging.
My frame rate is 0 and packets are 0 on the camera. So let's reload.
Yeah. Oh man. You know what to do. And welcome back.
Hello. Love that music. Maybe we should just leave that running under the whole podcast.
This
I
song
like
is
it.
good.
That's a good one. I like that one. All right.
Yes, sir. Your camera's on.
All right. Camera is on.
Did you reach the boot camp? Yes, you reached. You did.
Yeah. Actually, I can drop in at a good point. I got
You
this.
did MERN stack. Yeah.
Yeah. But I kind of got stuck in this place where the really good students who were building the cool things and like, like you wanted to encourage them to do even better. They didn't really need you as a teacher. Like they were already kind of, like they were self-sustaining. They were going to get through the course. It was sort of like, with the limited time that I had spread across so many students, like it was kind of a waste of time spending time with the students that are doing the cool stuff. And then there's a subset of students who are struggling but actually benefit from your extra attention and manage to get through. And like those students were awesome and made it entirely worth it. Like that's what made it feel so rewarding. But then the majority of the struggling students kind of like blame you or feel like they're kind of like entitled to this understanding of the concepts because they're paying a lot of money to be there. And so rather than them kind of realizing that they need to put in the effort to learn those things, they're kind of like, well, I already paid the money, so why don't I understand the concept? So as you can tell, I got a little bit bitter about it. So I got sick of teaching the same curriculum over and over again, and I kind of got sick of trying to like trick people into learning, especially when it was, something that I I had to work hard to go back to university, so I think I had this kind of feeling of like resenting it a little bit that they were just kind of paying money to go to a boot camp and then not even taking it seriously and not trying. So I decided, all right, all right, it's time for a career change. This isn't good for anybody if I'm not enjoying being a teacher. And so swung back over the other way to kind of the software engineering side of things. So I went and worked at a company called the company's REA Group, but the website that they build that people know are realestate.com.au. And so if you're outside of Australia, you probably have no idea what this is, but it's the like leading real estate listing website in Australia. And so while I was there, I like really focused on front end because that's what I was super interested in. And so and I kind of like wanted that to be my specialty. And so every like the teams that I worked in and the things that I worked on, I tried to make it as front end focused as possible. But the problem was I wanted to work on all of the cool, hot new tech and all the things that were changing in the world of JavaScript. And this was like kind of, I guess at the, fuck's sake.
So if it disappears in ScreenFlow as well, it kind of means that it's not the Ecamm Live.
No, it looks like it's the whole camera because the whole thing has gone. Like if I spin the camera around, there's nothing on the display, and if I press like menu or whatever, it's like the camera has gone to sleep, which is weird because it has a dummy battery in it, and so it's like plugged into constant power.
And also the duration is kind of random. It was like a good half an hour first time, and then
now it's happening like super quickly. I don't know what I
it's really the equivalent of last week's audio.
So frustrating. All right. There is like a little, maybe a temperature thing on the screen. Is that a thing?
Oh, it's too hot, so it shuts down.
Maybe.
In the middle of winter.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it is kind of warm in here. Maybe I'll turn the heater off. Hang on.
My heater is the Elgato key lights.
All right. So, we will stop this.
I can switch to the Slack one. That's when you're in a Slack huddle and the other person is not showing up. It starts playing after a while.
That's awesome. All right, looks like I'm going to have to refresh. Hang on.
See you. What is going on, world of technology? Last week was me having problems. This time it's John. We're both professional content creators. So this is what you get. Let's give it a try. Yes, sir.
Yo.
We're back.
We're back.
For now.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really
start from the start when you were born in Canberra. Just in
all right.
Realestate.com.au.
Right. But the problem was I wanted to kind of work with all of the hot new tech that was changing in the web development world. And this was kind of like the time when Angular and React were kind of battling it out. Vue had maybe just started and React was starting to kind of like take off as the winner in that, I think. And so, yeah, like it was a very quickly changing time in web development. And because REA was such a kind of like huge enterprise company, it was like, again, a little bit hard to make those big changes because everything needed to, like, you know, it was kind of a silly investment of money to just constantly be like rebuilding the existing sites that
so it
that
sounds
were
like
there.
it's a similar problem to in university when you wanted to change the curriculum. There's a really slow moving cargo ship that you have to slowly pivot. And then
That's right,
boot
yeah.
camp is much quicker. And then you went back to this like large software company, which kind of has the similarity of like slow moving change of pace of change, I guess.
Definitely. So yeah. So again, I like swung the other way and I was like, all right, I'll work at like a smaller kind of like startup-y kind of place. And so I moved to a company called Ferocia, who build an app called Up, which is an Australian digital bank.
I do know. Very cool branding.
Up?
Yeah, the brand, the design is so cool.
Yeah, it
I
is.
do have one
amazing...
of these orange cards somewhere. They're really cool.
Nice. Yeah. And so like as a front end developer, like that was perfect. It was like, yeah, the branding, design, everything was awesome. And yeah, I guess to like my friends outside of tech who didn't understand what my role as a software engineer was, they kind of thought, well, John's gone from being a real estate agent to a banker.
That's funny. When you were talking before, I thought John has the actual prototypical skill set that most our family members think developers have, like tech support. Like you actually know how to fix the projector and the printer and the Wi-Fi, which is like...
unfortunately.
when you move to a new suburb and you tell your neighbors you're a developer, they instantly, oh, my Wi-Fi is broken or my printer. It's the classic joke. You actually have that skill set.
Yeah, this is why I always steer away from that as part of the conversation. I always jump straight to I'm just a web developer. Now I'm a developer advocate, and no one knows what that means. So yeah, it gets me off the hook for needing to fix all of those things.
The Christmas Wi-Fi.
That's right. But yeah, I worked at Up. I worked in the marketing team, and so that was like the perfect place to play with all of the hot new tech. And as you were saying, like the design is amazing, the branding is amazing. Yeah, I reckon that's the definitely the greatest like design and animation team that I've ever worked with to date. Like they are just amazing at what they do. And so it was really fun building their crazy ideas into the marketing page. yeah, it was like, I think
Sweet.
exactly what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And while I was there, they released this basically like a public API to their banking platform, which is a super awesome thing to do. So people can basically build their own apps that can request data from the API and get access to their personal banking data. So like get a list of all of their transactions or whatever, and then they could build their own apps that show like a graph of their budget or something like that. And so coming from the like teaching world, I wanted to record a series of videos because the audience for that API was kind of developers again. I was like, cool, I'll build like a kind of like YouTube course that shows how to use it and how to build an app yourself for using that API. And I really enjoyed the like content creation side of that. And I'd always kind of like, with that kind of middle of those two skill sets of like really enjoying software engineering and really enjoying teaching, developer advocacy was kind of like the perfect role for that, and something that I had considered a lot previously. But I couldn't really justify traveling around to go to all of these conferences, especially when the majority of them will be in Europe or North America. It was a little bit like if that part needed to be a primary component of what I was doing, then I didn't really feel like I could commit to that with, a family and things back at home.
Being based in Australia is probably the hardest place to be based from if you are going to travel to all these conferences in the US and Europe, for sure.
Yeah. And like every role that I saw advertised for developer advocacy was saying that like it was at least like a 30% component of your role. So essentially like expect to be on the road like a third of the time, which just wasn't, not feasible. But at the time, COVID, as terrible as it was in so many ways, was kind of stopping people from being able to travel around anywhere. And so this role of the developer advocate kind of was changing a little bit and moving more towards that content creation,
for sure,
or like community building stuff. So things that you can do asynchronously from somewhere else in the world. So it was something that I was a possibility again, I think, because of the way that the world was changing. But it was a very hard one to justify. Like we had just had one child, or she was maybe 2 or so, and we were just about to have another little one. So very, very busy. And so we couldn't really afford for me to just like quit my job as a software developer, because we were about to go down to a single income again. And we also couldn't really afford to just like, oh no.
You were doing so good. Well, you are doing so good. I guess
at least there's probably only like 1 or 2 more of these.
Yeah.
And then
when that happens, just hit refresh and. Yeah.
The problem is I have to like turn off the camera. I have to stop recording in ScreenFlow. Stop recording. And then
are you saying that matching the clips is gonna be a pain? No, I'll have the audio because the audio never cuts.
Yeah. Right.
And for at least for editing the podcast, which is the thing you do, I'll have both tracks completely in sync the whole time. You just gotta figure out all the bits to cut.
Sick. All right, refreshing.
What music are we gonna go for this time? Yeah. Good morning. It's the afternoon now by the speed of recording we have today. Yeah, almost 1 p.m.
All right, I'm just going to jump straight back in.
See right back into it.
So we couldn't really afford for me to like just completely quit my job because we were about to go down to a single income. And we couldn't really, I guess, afford for me to hit restart as a junior and take a big pay cut and kind of like learn how to be a developer advocate. So me and my wife came up with this kind of 4-month plan. So if things didn't work out in that 4 months of trying to move across to being a developer advocate, then I was pretty confident that I could get another role as a software engineer.
Yeah.
And so we decided we had enough savings to kind of like give this a little bit of time, 4 months.
Give it a chance.
So I
like that.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I've got 4 months to try and trick a company into employing me high enough in a position that I have no experience in. But more importantly, like get some experience over that 4 months and prove that I can do that thing, and see if I can kind of get like a company's stamp of approval to say like, yes, this person can be a developer advocate. And so I identified 3 companies that I wanted to work for and that were doing developer advocacy really well. And so one of those was Stripe, one of them was Prisma, and one of them was Auth0. And so I created this 25-day e-commerce course just that went out on YouTube. So I just released a different video each day. And it was in December, so I did it as kind of like an advent calendar style thing where each day a new video would launch towards this
nice
big e-commerce platform that you could build. But mainly I was using that as like a conversation starter to be able to reach out to those companies and say, hey, like here's an example of me actually essentially doing developer advocacy for your company. And here's proof that I can do this thing. And since I was, putting so much effort into creating a big splash with that, it was kind of like, it gave me a reason to talk to them. I also pitched a similar course to Egghead. So how I would kind of take that and turn it into an Egghead course. And so, it was, I was kind of trying to build up these things behind me to say, to validate that, that I would be able to do that thing.
This is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something you hear quite often. People saying, I don't know. Everyone wants experience, 3 years of experience, or like the classic 10 years of experience with Svelte when Svelte is like 5 years old. And people say, how do you get the first experience? If you don't have experience, how do you get it? And I think that's really clever what you did. Like you chose, I love these companies and maybe I can just create my own content using these technologies. And then it doesn't replace experience of working with it, but it definitely puts you in the mix for someone who has credibility and catches the attention of a company you want to speak to. So I think that's a really great advice. Like if you're interested in working for someone specific or a specific company, the idea of like creating content around that and then say, hey, I've done this thing, you might be interested, and I'm looking for a position to be an advocate for your company. If you're interested, that's a great approach. Good on you.
Yeah.
Good use of your 4 months. That's always really clever.
Yeah, and I think like that would be my big piece of advice is like really target the companies that you want to work for rather than just like blasting an application to a whole bunch of open positions.
For sure.
Like then you're competing with all of the other people that are applying for those open positions, and it's really hard to stand out. But if you go and like create content for a particular company and then not advertising for open positions, and you like are reaching out to the person who runs DevRel for that company, that you're much more likely to be able to get into a proper conversation with that person. So after I did that with Prisma and had a couple of chats with the people that run DevRel there, they seemed like the ideal company. It seemed, like they were doing really cool stuff that I was interested in. They had like just the company kind of philosophy and attitude was really cool. But unfortunately they had a policy at the time against kind of hiring people outside of a particular range of time zones. So they wanted
which does not include Australia for sure.
Exactly. It does not include Australia. So it was kind of designed around being able to get like Europe and North America, because they're a German company. So being able to get North America and Europe to have this kind of like crossover time basically meant that it was impossible for me to be a part of that from Australia. Yes. And while at the time I was like, I can work in the middle of the night.
I'll make it work.
Yeah, because they're an awesome company. They were like, no, that's not going to be scalable. That's not going to be, like you're not going to enjoy that over time. And so, I really respect them for kind of like holding that ground and being like, this won't be sustainable for you and you won't enjoy being a developer advocate if you kind of commit to these things. And so, I highly respect them for that. And so I decided, or I offered to contract for them for a little bit, just again, so that they can kind of validate the my ability to do developer advocacy. I could learn from their developer advocacy team, and then I could keep applying for other roles.
Yeah, and you get that extra bit of experience we just talked about, like in your resume or application or whatever you're using for your next gig. That's really good use of your time once again.
Yeah, for sure. So alongside this, I kind of like in that e-commerce course that I built to get everyone's attention, I needed a hosted database. So it wasn't like a main component of the course, but I happened to use Supabase just because it was easy to tie in Prisma to a Supabase backend.
Yeah.
And so to make it, make more of a splash and to make the whole course more clickbaity, I used Supabase in the title to say that it was also using Supabase. And like the Supabase community was just like so fiercely like challenging the fact that I was saying that it was using Supabase, but then I was using all of these other tools for things that Supabase could do, and completely calling me out about it, which was like, at the time I was like, man, these people are fierce. But I think that what that shows is just like the community that is around Supabase was just like, yeah. And they were like super, like just loved that product. And during their like, pointing out all of these things that I could have used Supabase for, it kind of made me realize like, oh, Supabase is actually really cool. Like it does all the cool things that I guess like some of these other companies provide. If I was a developer advocate there, it would mean that I wouldn't just be showing off how to do Auth if I worked at Auth0, or showing off how to do payments if I worked at Stripe. It would kind of just be like building apps that could use anything else. So I thought in terms of long-term sustainability of having fun example apps to build, Supabase was a really good fit for that. So since I kind of like been working on my Egghead course, but hadn't finished the recording side of it, I had kind of like finished most of the planning side. So I decided to look at what that would be like if I used Supabase for all of the stuff, and basically rebuilt the course from the ground up, using Supabase for Auth and databases and the ORM level. And that it turned out to just like massively simplify the course. I could actually cut a whole bunch of videos from it, which was really cool, which is very kind of in line with the Egghead philosophy of just trying to kind of show, damn it. I could feel it coming. I was getting nervous because I knew.
Bracing for impact.
Yeah. What a stupid thing. It's so weird that it's like the reverse as well. Like last time it was just like stupid Riverside was like dropping out your feed every single time. And
that
now
was
your
me,
feed's
now it's
perfect.
you.
And now it's me.
Oh no, we had that one. Wait up. I've used all my pads now.
Refreshing.
Yes, let's do it. What do you reckon? Are we gonna finish this off in one take? I think we got this. This is the last one. Let's go. I'm sorry for the cough. I'm sick. Come on, jump in. Egghead.
All right. Here we go. What was I saying? So,
Egghead, laser focus on one topic only.
All right. So yeah, by kind of taking those other technologies out of the course as well, it allowed me to kind of like focus directly on just the bits that it takes to build this platform, which I think is much more in line with the Egghead philosophy anyway. And so I reached out to Supabase and said, hey, I'm working on this course. I really like Supabase. I released this other e-commerce course, and also I'm working at Prisma currently as a developer advocate. But Supabase is really, really cool, and I would like to chat about coming on board. And so, yeah, I guess, again, because I had like all of those examples of what I was doing, I wasn't like technically working as a full-time developer advocate, but because I had this whole like collection of stuff supporting me saying employ me, it was kind of enough for them to take me seriously. They were looking to like start up DevRel, so they were like looking for someone to lead DevRel, which was a little bit more intimidating, having never worked as a developer,
sure.
developer advocate. But yeah, thankfully they were also in discussions with Thor from he was at Stripe at the time, and so me and him kind of coming on board at the same time was kind of the perfect split for both of us to work together to build out what developer advocacy was. And that's where I've been for almost a year now.
This is awesome. I think you really nailed the approach. Like, I'm going to challenge something though. You said I wasn't ready to start as a junior again in a new field where I have to learn everything. I've paid attention to what you said today, and you mentioned you worked with audio and lighting, and you worked with teaching and preparing curriculum, and you've worked with tech and cameras and all this stuff. And all of these things are the exact skill set that it takes to create content, at least maybe not at conferences, but in-person YouTube video content. And so even if you didn't have the exact work experience as a DevRel, you can accumulated all the knowledge that it takes to put together to have that skill set, which to me explains why you're so good at what you do, because you prepared your whole life for this moment in a way.
Thanks. Yeah. And I think like that's exactly what I noticed as well. It was like, I think it was all in my head as to like, oh, this is technically a different title, so therefore I don't have the skill set to do it. But yeah, you're totally right. Like when I started actually doing it, I was like, oh yeah, I already understand how to record good quality video, how to get a good quality audio take. There were so many transferable skills that I realized like I'm not starting as a brand new junior, and I shouldn't have been employed as a brand new junior in this thing. I actually was ready for exactly where I ended up, which is very cool.
I said that because I've went through a similar path where I jumped into web development thinking, oh, I'm starting from scratch again, because I'll tell you my story another day, but I have a different background in teaching primary schools, and I thought I was starting from scratch until I realized I've been editing videos for fun. I've been teaching kids for years, and all these things together, turns out developers can benefit from good videos where you teach things. And I ended up realizing I wasn't starting from scratch completely in a way. So question, did you, because you've got experience in some broad areas, quite different, university, bootcamp, big software company, small software company, did you notice some parallels or something that are similar throughout all these different disciplines that can like merge together more than we would think?
I think a big one, like personally, would be imposter syndrome. I think the most consistent thing across all of those roles was that, all throughout that time, I didn't feel like I was ready for the position that I was going into.
Yeah.
So, even just studying and especially writing, like as I mentioned at the start, I didn't take high school super seriously, and so it was really hard for me to get to university. So once I did get to university, it was like I didn't feel like I was ready for that. I didn't feel like I could write a massive essay because it had just been so long since I had done that. And then moving into teaching, like standing up in front of people and telling them that all of this stuff is super intimidating. And then moving into tech support and like needing to be able to answer like literally any problem. Like when my first day there was terrifying. I was like, I don't know how a projector works. And then I realized that literally the answer to everything is actually just turn it off and turn it on again, and everything works fine.
It is the actual fix. Yeah.
It is actually the answer to every question. And then moving into like writing and delivering the bootcamp curriculum, prior to that, I had just been teaching at university. And so all of that stuff had been done for me. I was just like reading out the slides and working through the same exercises, but actually creating that content was, a very intimidating thing. Working on the most public piece of Up, working at a bank and working on the marketing pages that everyone sees, that felt like I don't have the skills to be able to do that, and everyone's going to see all of my mistakes. And then changing careers into developer advocacy and being kind of like the first person or the first one of the first two people in DevRel at Supabase was super intimidating, and I didn't feel like I was had the skill set that I needed to do that. And even starting this I was so close.
You know what to do.
I know what to do.
The tech support, stop and start again. That's the fix.
Yeah, that's right. It actually is the answer right here. Dang. So close. It was a very good point you made there, Simon, about the transferable stuff and not actually starting from scratch.
Yeah, I was listening and I someone told me that one. Like, you're not starting from scratch. You've got so many developers spend years trying to learn how to teach and stuff, and you've done the reverse. And I was like, yeah, especially when you go to dev advocacy, that's where you back to needing teaching skills.
Totally. All right, here I go. Coming back.
Oh. And we're back. We're getting quicker. The pit stop is getting quicker every time. We're very good
That's
at
right,
it.
yeah. We are very efficient at this now.
I don't know
I
where
might
you
just
stopped.
start a little bit earlier and then just roll through it. All
Yeah.
right. And then we're going into what you're working on, which is Pro Tailwind. So get ready for pitches and plugs. All right. And then like working on the most public of pages at a bank was super intimidating as well. Like I was thinking, these marketing pages are going to be seen by everyone, and so everyone's going to see all of the mistakes that I make.
They're going to see through me.
Exactly.
I know the feeling.
I am an imposter. They will see through. They will know that they'll realize that I don't know what I'm talking about. And then changing careers into developer advocacy, and being the first person or one of the first two people that kind of kicked off DevRel for a company. That is also a super intimidating thing when you don't feel like you have the skills to do that. And then I guess even like starting this podcast, we're now on a weekly basis, we are broadcasting that we have all the answers. And, from the very first episode, even now, like it feels very intimidating doing this. And so I would say, the most consistent thing across all of that is that imposter syndrome is always there and it never goes away. And so don't feel bad if you're also experiencing this, and you probably are actually capable at doing the thing that you're doing and are probably in exactly where you should be.
This is so comforting because I look at you, and even I watched the video of the first few podcasts, and I'm like, man, he's so comfortable and chill, and I'm like flipping my pants, like I'm super nervous and like stressed out, and he seems to be just cruising. And then everything you do, the super bass videos, like everything seems like you're just on top of things, and it just comes naturally. And hearing what you say, and ladies and gentlemen, you heard it, like it does not go away. We all have this. I personally myself, in every job that I've worked, felt the exact same way, where I'm like, I'm not cut out for this. So I never took shortcuts, but I did get a bunch of jobs where I skipped the interview rounds because of networking, and just out of my personality, I guess I did the first round of interviews, and I'm like, I just everyone likes you. We'll figure it out. And I skipped like the whiteboards, binary tree reversal tests. And then when I was presented with some like code challenges, I was like, oh crap, like I'm an imposter. Literally, I don't have what it takes, which I don't think is true. But I've experienced that. I've experienced that at my job at Tailwind, making videos, which I'm really good at. I still think there's so many people that are so much better. And starting this podcast and everything I do, I always think, why should I pretend that I can do this when there's so many other talented people? But it's nice to hear that it's a common thing, and more often than not, it's the pressure we put on ourselves, and it doesn't reflect what we're capable of.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, likewise, like looking at you, everything you do looks perfect as well. So yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate thing that I think humans are burdened to deal with. Is just constantly feeling like, I think it's that like tribal aspect of like, you don't want to get kicked out of the tribe. You want to belong. You want people to think that you should be in the tribe so that you survive and the saber-tooth tigers don't eat you. But it's not very helpful when you're trying to do your job. But yeah, I had a very similar experience where like I'm generally quite smiley and friendly, and so people are like, yeah, people like you, have the job. Or like, like I feel like maybe I get rushed into a position that I didn't have to like technically show off that I could be at. And so then, yeah, when you get presented with that technical problem, you're like, oh no, I just tricked everybody because I'm smiling, and
This
now
is why
I
there was
don't know
that
what I'm
step.
doing.
Yeah, this is why there was the technical screening test that I kind of zigzagged around.
Yeah, that's right. All right, time for the less serious part of the discussion where we talk about what we're working on. So, Simon, what are you working on at the moment?
It fits right in the discussion because when this podcast comes out, it will have been announced. It might even have happened already. I'm going to teach my first Pro Tailwind workshop on the 19th of August. So
Awesome.
This is on Zoom. It's a Zoom workshop, 1-day workshop. And again, I'm going to be sitting where I'm sitting now at my house and speak to up to 30 learners from anywhere in the world and pretend like I'm not stressed out and impostery about teaching Tailwind for a whole day. I know I'm good at it. I know people like me and likely will like to hang out with me a whole day. And I had a call with the Egghead team this morning and they were like, dude, everyone likes you. You're really good. People know you for Tailwind. You've proved yourself. You're a good person. You're a good teacher. And I still am like stressing and counting how many more sleeps and how many hours and just getting super nervous. But here it is. I'm going to teach my first workshop. So there's 4 different workshops in my Pro Tailwind course. This is the first workshop. And each workshop will be taught in person, as in Zoom live workshops, a couple of times to kind of refine the content and ask for feedback. And then when that is consolidated, I will record videos that kind of serve as the self-paced workshop that is the online course that people can buy. But yeah, the first step is to do a live workshop and not die of stress, and then ask for feedback and refine what's refinable. And this first workshop happens. As I'm speaking now, it's 2.5 weeks away, but as this comes out, it might have already happened. Hopefully I'm still alive and it went well.
Awesome. I am so excited for that. Yeah. I'm waiting to learn Tailwind properly from you because I feel like I'm just on the edge of like I can do enough to make things kind of look okay sometimes, but yeah, there is so much more power to Tailwind that I just am not familiar with. So very keen for that. I will have also just launched an Egghead thing. And so I believe, by the time this podcast goes live, my new Supabase Data at the Edge course will be live. And so this is a very cool course where we're looking at how do we cache Supabase data at the edge using Cloudflare workers and KV storage, so that we can kind of minimize those round trips to the origin database server and have all of that data as close to our users as possible. So that
Very
will
nice.
be live. And also probably at this point, the previous episode that came out last week is going through all of that stuff. And so if you're interested in Supabase, if you're interested in edge stuff, edge computing, if you're interested in Cloudflare and Cloudflare workers and KV storage, I recommend you go check out the free Egghead course at Egghead.io, and also check out our previous episode where we go through it. All right,
Excellent.
Simon, time for open bar. Can you play us the...
I can sure do this.
Oh, we got layers.
We got a little bit of slack waiting music on top. Let's try one
play
with
that one again.
I'll try one with the hip hop beat again.
Ooh, there we go. All right. It's time for the open bar.
That'll
time to
do.
open up the floor. It's all right.
I'm drinking spicy water. Oh, it's
That's
sparkling
spicy,
water, but
bubbly water.
we call it, the kids say it's spicy, so and now I call it spicy water, thinking it's a normal term, and people are like, what? What's spicy?
That's awesome. Is that your pick for this week? Is that your open bar topic? Is
Shout out
spicy
to
water?
What is it called? It's called
SodaStream. Are you rocking the brand name? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
brand
the real
name Bubbles.
I don't know what you can. SodaStream. I was talking to a former colleague who's Canadian, and he said, "What's that big bottle?" And I said, "It's SodaStream," and he didn't know what it was, and I thought that was a worldwide thing. If you don't know what that is, it's just like you put normal water and then you screw it in a little machine and you press and it injects a lot of like carbon something bubbles.
Carbon
That-
dioxide? The
I don't
bubbly
know.
stuff.
It adds bubble, and then it's like drinking a Sprite or whatever, but it's just water. A lot of people, I would assume in America, people would add soda and Coca-Cola flavors or what. I just put water and spice it up. See, spicy.
Yeah.
And it's good. It just sometimes I don't drink water, I forget. But if it has the bubbles, it's kind of like a little premium drink. It's almost like having a beer or something.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. So I'm tricking myself to drink more by having the bubbles.
That's very cool. Does it help
That
you
is.
jump higher as well? Because you have all of the like bubbles pulling you up on the inside of your tummy.
Probably not.
Okay,
It
that's
helps
not
me.
how science
It
works.
helps me once to lie horizontally and have a nap because I've got all the bubbles working. Yeah.
Nice. Well, yeah, this week I have been very excitedly getting back into. Oh, for fuck's sake!
Into
All right.
cameras and
One more, yeah, into
Let's do one
smashing
more.
cameras on the ground when they let me down. All right, last one.
you got this.
Got it. I got it.
We could just throw commercial breaks on every.
Yeah.
Today's sponsor is sponsored by realestate.com.au.
Realestate.com.au and Up and Egghead, like always.
Egghead, like always, gold sponsor.
All right, refreshing now.
Oh my goodness. What is
Ooh,
happening this
I
week?
came in very fuzzy there.
You came at 2:40 and now you're like at 7:20.
All right, give it to me again.
All right, John, what are you doing this week? What's happening in your life?
I have been mountain biking again, which
Ooh.
is awesome because it's been super cold and rainy, and I have like a nice mountain bike, and we have these like mountain bike trails, maybe like 15-minute ride from where we live, which is so cool. And
It
for
is
some
cool.
reason, just all of winter, I don't know, winter's just so miserable when it's just cold and wet, and especially when you're mountain biking, like if it's wet, the ground is muddy, which is okay for your mountain biking, but if a whole bunch of people go mountain biking, it basically just like destroys the trails.
Yeah.
And so now that it's starting to warm up and things are starting to dry up again, it's really nice to get back into mountain biking. I feel like I've rediscovered this thing that that I used to do constantly that I just haven't done for like 6 months. So I'm excited to keep doing more mountain biking. Have you done any like downhill mountain bike stuff?
Yeah, we do have a bunch of bush tracks. Sydney is funny like that. There's so many. It's called national park. So in Australia, almost any area with trees is a national park. I say this because in Switzerland, there's only one national park. It's like
Right.
national park means like UNESCO heritage protected. But yeah, Sydney, we live very close to the Garigal National Park, and it's basically unlimited fire trails, bush trails, lots of, and there's a lot of like little setups for mountain bike with little bridges and little jumps and turns and stuff. And the kids are finally old enough to kind of enjoy it, like where you're not going super slow and thinking, oh my God, they're going to crash and scream. They kind of can follow almost any trails without doing
Awesome.
too much adventurous stuff. So as a family, we've been going, not lately because of the Sydney's been so wet that, as you mentioned, they sometimes close the ones where they arrange like bank turns and jumps. They kind of close it because otherwise the mud you just dig a hole into the track and mess it up. So
Yeah.
they close it. But I'm looking
That's-
forward to getting back into doing this. It's a fun family activity. You end up burning a bunch of calories because you have to go back up after going down. And
Yeah,
it's just
for
a
sure.
fun day out and it's free. I mean, yes, you do need a bike, which is not free, but once you have the gear, you don't have to buy a day pass or a day ticket like, say, snowboarding or skiing, which can get very expensive very quickly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that it as a family activity is awesome. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. I don't think the 3-year-old or the 6-month-year-old would go very well riding their own bike on the mountain biking trails. But yeah, that will be awesome.
Speaking of
in
bikes
a couple of
and
years.
children, I don't know if you tried that already or like because our kids started at 3. And that's something that didn't exist in Switzerland, or at least when I was a kid. It's these bikes without pedals. So it's like, I think it's called balance bikes.
Yeah,
So
we've just recently got one
there's
of
no
these.
pedals. So they have the feet touching the ground and they push, push, push. No, sorry, I don't mean pedals. What I mean is without the training wheels on the side, but there's no pedals either. So when I grew up, what they did to teach you how to ride a bike is put a triangle with 2 wheels at the back, which basically means you can stop and not fall. But it removes the element of balance completely. Like you don't have to learn how to balance yourself. And so you relied on this crutch of like, oh, cool, I'm sitting in the car and I know how to ride a bike. And then I've seen some kids turn 5, 6, 7 years old, and then they take the training wheels off. Yeah. That's where the saying "taking the training wheels off" comes from. And then they have no idea how to ride a bike because they've completely relied on being able to shift their weight.
Yeah, which is where the saying "it's just like riding a bike, you never forget" is just completely wrong, because you learn how to ride a bike with training wheels, and then you take the training wheels off, you no longer know how to ride a bike, and you have to learn again.
Yeah, it sounds like a metaphor for life, where you grow, you go to school, and then you release out of the zoo into the free world. And
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, so these bikes, we had a friend worked at a company called Specialized that makes really cool bikes. And she gave us that tiny little red Specialized bike where she said, like, all you need to do is adjust the saddle so the kids can put their feet on the ground, and they kind of like run on the ground by pushing, and eventually they get some speed and lift their feet and put it on the little platform, and they have to figure out the balance because there's no other way around. There's no training wheels, and within 2, 3, 4 weeks they were like they could ride a bike, and then you add the pedals and they ride the bike. And
because they're already learning about that. Like once you start moving, it's much like easier to keep a bike upright.
From the start, they have to figure out, oh, okay, I need to keep my spine or whatever, my center of gravity kind of on top of the bike, because if I lean my head like this, I'm gonna fall. And having that feedback from the start means that you don't have that transition phase of like relearning when you take the training wheels. So that's my tip for your kids. If you can do that, that works really well.
Yeah, we actually did just get a balance bike. So our daughter has just recently started doing that. It is loving it. So yeah, I'm hoping that it keeps going and we can get her excited about riding bikes, because riding bikes, excellent exercise, excellent family activity.
It is.
All right. I think that's it from us for now for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to my whole big origin story. I hope it was helpful. Once again, my name is John. You can find me at JohnMyers_IO on Twitter.
And I'm Simon. You can find me at Simon Swiss on Twitter. And I really enjoyed hearing your origin story. I've learned a lot, and it explains a lot about you and who you are and how good you are at your job. So everyone, hope you liked it. If you did, please let your friend know about it. Leave us a review. I'm not sure where, but you can figure that out. We'll figure it out too. Subscribe, smash that like button, everything. We might release the videos at some point. I know people have been asking. And thank you so much for your support. And we will see you or hear you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good one. Bye. Yes, we did it without the camera dying. I was getting worried a little bit towards the end there. Like if it drops out like right on like your second last word, do we go back and re-record the outro or do... Oh man, I don't know what the hell is going on with this camera. I was having a similar issue when I had the battery in because it was actually overheating. But I thought this dummy battery had fixed it.
You mentioned that in your gear episode. You were like, I was recording and it would just black out.
Yeah.
Well, this is cool.
Yeah.
I have like the live stream says an hour 30, but like we had so many. We recorded for a bunch before going at the start. Yeah, so it's going to be...
I reckon probably maybe like 30, 40 minutes.
Yep, which is a nice target.
Yeah.
Enjoyable content too. All right.
Yeah, thanks for jumping in with good questions and making it fun. It feels a little bit weird talking about yourself for just like 40 minutes.
I thought like if I can find ways to kind of replay what I've learned from you and make it it kind of shows it's we had some good conversation with the imposter syndrome and preparing for your next job without knowing you are.
Yeah, for sure.
Preparing for life. So I'm going to try do a little clip for this before. Yeah, it's gonna go out in a few weeks anyway.
Oh yeah, this will not be going out until.
Now tell me something.
Yeah,
I hate. I mean I don't hate, but it takes the fun away to be too planning. What like if I like that episode and I cut a bit about imposter syndrome or whatever, I don't want to in my head think, oh, I should wait for the Tuesday the week before the episode comes out to publish this one. Do you care?
Sure.
Because
I don't care.
I'm excited. I've done it. I want to push it now and say, oh, it'll come eventually at some point, and I'll retweet this when it comes out. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If we were gonna do the like post ones, the like listen back to the last episode. Oh fuck it.
That's all right.
Stupid camera. That's all right. We don't need visuals. If we wanted to do the like check out our last episode to see this thing, then I guess it should probably be the week after or the week that it came out. But we could just reuse the same video. Like if you chop one up because there's something cool in this video that you think would be good, and we put it out now, like we could just repost the same trailer, like the same
when it's about to come out.
Yeah. Or like the week after it, like the week that it did come out, be like, check out this episode. But yeah, I think don't worry about like trying to time it all because otherwise we're going to get into like a scheduling nightmare where it's like, all right, we need to release this piece of content for this thing,
we're gonna have a Notion database for like
a calendar, a content calendar of that's right.
And like I'm wary of, like, you actually were the first one to keep mentioning that it should remain fun and not be one of these things like, oh fuck, I've got to do all these treatments. Totally. And like the idea of like we have fun, hang out a couple of hours every week, and then like any little video I do is gonna create a bit of buzz. So it's like I like the idea of keeping it unstructured to like, of course we release every Wednesday the episodes, but then whatever we do around it, it's kind of nice to just not have to worry. I think I got scarred from Tailwind, like sucking the fun out of everything, and every release is Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. in the US. So for me, it's Monday midnight. So I just do a tweet of a video I'm super excited, and then schedule it for midnight, which means I'm not gonna be there to engage with the comments and stuff, which is like the whole little dopamine hit. Like you like just ride the wave of like, oh my god, everyone loves the video.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of just like shipping stuff unstructured.
Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, this is meant to be fun. This is meant to be something we can do for a long time because we enjoy it, rather than something that needs to be perfect for work. Actually, can you turn off my camera in any way? Like, do you have the ability to like
do you want me to try
hide camera?
Yeah, all right, let me go into that demo mode. So I can solo blah 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 unassign. Now that hangs up.
Maybe if you like unassign to guest 2 or unassign whatever. Oh,
I can send you back to green room.
In the green room, can I do anything? See, there's this like settings cog, but I can't click it because it keeps crashing the JavaScript function that it calls to do it. Hang on, I'll just quickly refresh. Give me a sec.
Yeah. Let's give him the end screen. He's gonna love it. Yeah. Green room. Do you like that screen? All right, let me go back to split screen. All right. I can't hear you for some reason. You are muted. Ah, yeah, I have to assign you. Assign guest one.
Room is too green. I was screaming in the green room and no one could hear me.
So when I unassign you like this, can you? Does it look different?
Oh, actually, when you unassign me, I can actually click the little settings cog now. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, no. Maybe it's just because it hasn't crashed yet. Never mind. All right. But yeah, what I was going to say is I'm going to solve this problem for next week. So this is not going to be a problem next week because
Yeah.
I'm going to use this. I'm going to finally unbox. Oh, you can't even. It's too glossy.
It's shiny.
I'm going to unbox this Opal C1
Oh,
because it
okay.
is a 4K, webcam.
Yeah, a
and
few
will
people
just-
got it at ThinkMill and they love it.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have a DSLR camera, but they're like, whoa, blows out any other webcam out of the water.
But I think it'll be fine for this, especially
Yeah.
if it's only recording at 720 or whatever anyway. And yeah, I think like there won't be anything to overheat because the whole camera is just designed to be an always on webcam. So maybe I'll use my nice DSLR when I'm recording like proper nice videos, but if I'm doing like a stream, maybe I'll just use the Opal so it doesn't cause massive tech problems for me.
Love it. Love it. You're happy with Ecamm?
Yeah, I think this is
mean,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like whatever the problems were definitely my end. It wasn't what was going on with Ecamm because like it was crashing screen flow every time as well. So there was something overheating with the camera and putting it into some weird mode.
Yeah, so what I really
so-
like is you can set it like what we've done, just 2 screens, and then it's kind of like using Riverside, like you see the other person and it records. But then if you ever want to just like when I do my Pro Tailwind stuff, I've got these slides. So without moving from where I am, I can just move into this kind of stuff where I'm like talking about whatever.
That's awesome.
Like I can have just a little. Yeah, it just adds this
That's so
kind of
cool. Yeah,
professionalism.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually that is such an awesome way to do slides as well. Like having the content there, but then still having you like dynamically cut through the slide rather than just having like a whole bunch of white space on the slide and then like overlaying your camera over the top. That looks very professional.
Yeah,
I
and
love your little Simon signature as well.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
look at, and I can toggle it on and off,
Very cool.
and that's
And even fades in a little bit. Fancy.
yeah, and you can, I think every overlay, if I go here, transition, you can say flying from the bottom.
Right.
So if I ever hide it, it goes.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and yeah, it's just so intuitive, and you can see like all the stuff everywhere. Yeah,
Are
but
you
I
still
like
working on the workshops as well? You're not just spending all of your time playing with Ecamm, right?
that. Guys, I've got
There's
this
still
really.
content that you need to deliver.
But look, if it's just me, I can also bring at the top left my little Simon.
Awesome.
I had it. I joined the ThinkMill Zoom chat, and I forgot that I had it on. And I was like, everyone was like, "Oh my god, how do you get your little personal signature or whatever?"
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, "What?" And then I was like, "Oh, you mean that thing? Yeah." Okay. Because Ecamm, you just use Ecamm as the Zoom camera, and then it's whatever. So if I switch to this, that's what people see in my little corner. So yeah, that's cool.
Right.
All right.
That's
I
awesome.
like it. I really, really like Ecamm. It's cool. And hopefully, I mean, I'm going to have the 2. Well, look at this. You can see my screen. So if I go finish, it's going to be, are you sure? By live stream of 0 people. 1 watching now. It's me. I always trick.